come over tonight. Yeah, you wanna make up and make it right. When everybody's looking for something else they can do, we try to make it work this time. We have let go of our doubts. Let's make it matter, 'cause we will never ever come down. It looks like we made it. If your heart should break on the map of my mistakes, I'm here if you need me. Just keep on believing. If the sky should fall, I'll give you shelter through it all. You better believe it. I'm here if you need me, 'cause it's waiting there for you. We have to be bolder tonight. Yeah, we have to turn darkness into light. When everything we have done comes around, comes undone, we try to make it right this time. We just gotta make up our minds. Let's make it matter, 'cause we will never ever slow down. This time we will make it. If your heart should break on the map of my mistakes, I'm here if you need me. Just keep on believing. If the sky should fall, I'll give you shelter through it all. You better believe it. I'm here if you need me, 'cause it's waiting there for you. I'm waiting there for you. One love.
Today, this episode is brought to you by Stamps.com. Since 1998, Stamps.com has been an indispensable tool for nearly 1 million businesses. Stamps.com brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS shipping right to your computer. Whether you're an office sending invoices, a side hustle Etsy shop, or a full-blown warehouse shipping out orders, Stamps.com will make your life easier. All you need is a computer and a standard printer. No special supplies or equipment. And within minutes, you're up and running, printing official postage for any letter, any package, anywhere you want to send it. And you'll get exclusive discounts on postage and shipping from USPS and UPS. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. No traffic, no lines. Cut the confusion out of shipping. With Stamps.com's new Rate Advisor tool, you can compare shipping rates and timelines to easily find the best option. Save time and money with Stamps.com. There's absolutely no risk. And with my promo code POD, that's P-O-D, you get a special offer that includes a 4-week trial plus free postage and a digital scale. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com, click on the microphone at the top of the page, and type in POD. That's P-O-D. That's Stamps.com, promo code P-O-D. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office again. Ladies and gentlemen, especially if you have a small business, it is really, you know how hard it is to get things going. It's usually a one-man show. And I've had only positive experiences with Stamps.com. Try it. You'll like it. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Claudia Monicelli. My avid followers knew this podcast as Pleasure Seeking, the Pleasure Seeking podcast, named after my book, The Magic of Pleasure Seeking. As soon as it's available for pre-order, I'll announce it here. Enjoy your listening. With me today, I have Elijah WARE, a fascinating person who, in one person, includes everything that I would ever want to talk to a person about: metaphysics, spirituality, God, the Bible. And so I thought this would be a great opportunity. And he himself says, well, the Bible is the number one book selling the world over. Why don't we talk about it? Is it true? What's it all about? So welcome, Elijah. I'm so happy that you are able to come.
Thank you, Claudia. Thank you so much. I'm happy to be with you. Thank you.
All right. So let me get down to the nitty gritty, because the first thing I asked off mic, I asked Elijah, well, who are you anyway? Are you a doctor in theology? Are you a metaphysicist? Or what is your background? And so he started explaining so much. And I said, no. I have to push that record button because I want to hear. All right. So Elijah, who are you?
Okay.
Wait a minute. I'll give you a start. I usually ask people, I'd like to know about Elijah in his teens. Who were you and what were you like then?
Oh, gosh. In my teens?
Yeah.
A mess. No, I'm joking.
Isn't that the truth?
Teenagers.
We were all a mess.
Right. I'm not sure I'm too far from that now, from that mess.
I always think I never want to go back there again.
No. You know, when people say, "Oh, I wish I could be that," I'm like, "No, why?
No
why?
way.
Heavens, why?" But as a youngster, well, I have to start by saying my mother and my father raised me in metaphysics, because my mother's mom, my grandmother, she was introduced to metaphysics by a good friend of hers and her husband. Mm-hmm. So my mom came into it when she was about 11 years old.
Oh, all right.
So,
hold on. I'm going to stop you right there, Elijah, because,
sure.
we do talk about metaphysics all the time. A lot of people like to know, give me a definition of what metaphysics
absolutely.
is. Go ahead.
In Latin, as you probably know, Claudia, the word meta means beyond, and physics refers to the physical. Right. So the word metaphysics or metaphysical just means beyond the physical.
Perfect. Okay. All right. We got it. Go on. You have the floor.
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking. Because some people don't ask. They talk to you about metaphysics.
Yeah, but they don't
ask.
And people listening don't know.
Right. No, thank you so much for that. And that's important to know. And so my mother and my father raised me in it. When my mother met my father, she introduced him to it, and they both raised me in it. And at about the age of 13,
do you have brothers or sisters, Elijah?
Yes, I have. I have an older brother, Tony, from my mother and my father. When I was 5 years old, Claudia, my mother and my father divorced, and they both remarried other people. So my father has a younger son. My mother never had any other children after me and my older brother.
So were they too also raised on metaphysics, or were you just a particular case?
No, that's a great question. No, my brother both brothers was, because even when my dad remarried, he remarried somebody else who was also a student in the congregation. Oh, it was a lot. We have a large congregation of like minds.
Yeah,
yeah. So I mean, at the particular location in LA, it's about 600 to 700 people, but worldwide, certainly not anything the size of these mega churches, but it was about 8,000 to 10,000 people.
Oh, it's a good, nice size. Yeah.
Yeah. So they both raised me in that. My stepmother, her mother, was quite a force in the congregation. She was a wonderful metaphysical teacher. Her name was Opal, a wonderful teacher. She passed away a few years back. But
that's too bad. How old was she passed? Just out of curiosity.
Oh, Opal was about 64,
Very
65 when
young.
she
My
passed in
God.
2010. Yeah. She had
Oh.
pancreatic cancer.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
my sister, same thing. Gone.
Oh, I'm
Same
sorry.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. At
Yeah.
that same
Yeah.
age, actually. The
Wow.
exact
I
same
wonder if
age.
that's kind of like the age that it starts to manifest itself,
Well,
with people.
yeah, I don't know.
But
But anyway.
yeah, but yeah, but from that age of about 13 on, I began to speak at our local chapter, if you will.
Hmm.
And then when you have a 14-year-old kid that's
Oh,
teaching and preaching with
wait a
conviction.
minute. When you wait, teaching and preaching and talking, they're all three different things, right? So, well,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, that's a lot for a 14
Mhm.
year old.
It was, and,
Yeah,
and
well,
it became a
what
lot of pressure as
possessed you?
well.
What possessed you to do that?
Well, the creator, really, if I have
Okay.
to be honest, the
Okay.
Holy Spirit, if I can put it like that,
Sure.
I've always had this zeal to know
A
the
beautiful
truth,
word.
if it were.
Zeal. Yep. Yeah, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. The zeal,
And
that's a word.
so,
Sometimes that comes out as negative, the zealot.
mhm.
But this is a
Right, Peter,
beautiful,
Peter,
beautiful. Yeah,
Apostle Peter
yeah,
being a
yeah, yeah.
zealot, yeah.
Beautiful,
I'll cut,
beautiful.
I'll cut him. Right. Yeah, I wasn't like that, but I wasn't like Peter. I wasn't gonna cut
Not yet.
anybody. Stand back, Savior. I got it. I'll cut him.
All right, now wait. So you're here. You are 14 years old, and were you? Did you? I mean, weren't you afraid to do that at all, or did you willingly take that microphone? I mean, that's a big jump.
Well, it may have been, and I don't know. I never really thought about it, Claudia, but I can say that my teacher, he was quite a force to be reckoned with, and
Mm-hmm.
I always had a lot of admiration for him.
Okay.
I made sure I did not praise him and
Aha.
put him in the place of the
Okay.
creator, because he
Okay.
would get quite upset
Okay.
with us and admonish us about doing that.
Uh-huh.
And I thought that said a lot about him, that he would constantly get on our case.
Yeah.
Listen, I am not your savior,
Mm-hmm.
you see, but I am a teacher and an instructor in Christ, or the Messiah. But he was such a lion,
Yeah.
and even the
Yeah.
way he would,
I like him
preach,
already. Ladies and gentlemen, you are not seeing this; you're just listening. He's dancing. So this guy must have been hot stuff. How old?
Oh my goodness. Dr. Harris was
Dr.
old enough to be
Harris.
my grandfather. His
Okay.
name was Dr. Harris. And now he wasn't the founder of the school. Dr.
Yeah.
Kinley was the founder of the
Uh-huh.
school. I never met Dr. Kinley. Dr.
I see.
Kinley transitioned out of the physical world
Mm-hmm.
in 1976.
Mm-hmm.
But he founded the school based upon this experience that he had, that
Yeah.
he called his vision and his revelation of Christ, or of the Elohim.
Uh-huh.
And as odd as that may seem, it was really no different than what you see in the Bible. And also men in our current time like Neville Goddard and Emmanuel Swedenborg.
Okay,
who
wait.
said that they
Now,
had
wait.
these
You're
experiences.
throwing out. He's a
Sure,
name
sure,
dropper
sure.
too. He's a name dropper.
Sure.
Hold on. We got to go slow here. All right. Now,
Mhm.
so we have you there, these two wonderful people, one you had not ever met. And
Mhm.
Dr. Harris, is that the cool
He
guy?
was my
Okay,
immediate
you're
process.
right. All right.
Yes.
So now,
Mhm.
how long did you, let's say, stay in the limelight? Pick up the microphone, get up. How long did that last?
It lasted for about 10 years.
Wow.
Because when you have a youngster at that age,
Yeah.
and some people called me Little Dr. Harris.
Ah,
And I remember
get
when
it.
we
You
went
must
down
have
to
loved that. You must have loved
I
it.
did, but I also feared it,
Ah,
because I knew that inwardly I felt as though I was nothing like him.
wow. Okay, okay,
Uh,
okay. You can't
Especially
stand.
as a young,
Right, I get it.
especially as a youngster that struggled with my sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, I'm not like him,
Yeah, but was
but I
that an
wanted to be
issue?
like
Was
him.
that an issue with Harris? Did he confront
No,
you with that? No.
the beauty in it is, Claudia,
Mm-hmm.
there is no doubt in my mind that he knew,
Ah,
but he
okay.
never judged me for it.
Okay. Okay.
He never said anything,
All right.
but as I got older, whispers began to happen. You know, when you deal with people, you're going to deal with gossip.
Mm-hmm.
And he never got up and said anybody who's guilty of that is going to suffer the wrath of the Creator. He never did that. He never even spoke to me about it.
Yeah.
He explained what spiritual homosexuality meant.
Wait a minute. Now we have to explain that to me too.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Sure. The Apostle Paul said over in Romans, the first chapter, that you take the visible to understand the invisible. You take the natural to understand the supernatural.
Right.
And what my teacher, who was also a licensed medical doctor, he came from the world of medicine.
Yeah.
What he always emphasized to us is that you use that. You use the visible to understand the spiritual.
Okay.
And seeing that we are here in Creator School.
Yeah.
You see, we are supposed to be intercoursing with our husband, the great formless former of the universe, the Creator. And that's really what communion is all about. So we would be his bride, and he would be our heavenly husband.
Right.
And so if I'm guilty of spiritual homosexuality, that means I'm looking to a physical, because homo means same.
Got it. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, sure.
So the emphasis was always more on not something physical.
Right.
See, and I use this example with people. Fertility is a big theme in the Bible.
Yes.
But you wouldn't take a woman who was infertile or struggled with fertility and say, we're going to damn you to hell for all of eternity, even though fertility is a big theme in the Bible. Right. But we recognize that that's just a type and shadow of something heavenly. You don't want to be guilty of spiritual infertility. You understand? Can you see what I'm talking about?
I get it. Now wait, so you said about 10 years, so that must be about 24 years old, right, Elijah? What made you stop?
Well, I didn't stop going at that time, but I moved to a larger congregation that had a lot better ministers than me, and that were more flaming fires than I was. And just by mere numbers, this was our headquarters school in Los Angeles, not too far from Dodger Stadium. You have more people that will get up and minister. So in a smaller school, you're going to get more attention. In a larger school where you have people coming from Canada and Jamaica and Europe and other parts of the world, and they're getting up and minister, they might call you up to have something to say maybe once, 2 times, 3 times a year. But I did speak at a convention at our last international convention, it was called, and that had about 8,000 to 10,000 people. And I was 16 years old when I did that. And all I can say is it was just the Creator that gave me the strength to do it. But I was convicted. I believed what Dr. Kinley taught us. Wait. What he shared with us. You mean
you were a convinced believer? Is that what you mean? Okay.
Yes.
Now, wait a minute now. Because I'm seeing Elijah going from the small to the big, and he's growing there too. And he's 24, 25. When you're there, did you at any point really have ambitions of being a preacher, a fully flown preacher? You know,
that's
the
a great question.
Power of well, that's I'm not.
You ask really good questions.
That's what we're here
you
for.
Ask very pertinent. No, you. I'm serious, but your questions are very. You're like a sharpshooter.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I'll take that as a compliment.
Because you go right for you ask.
Yeah.
I'm
scratching here.
Questions. But the funny thing about it is that we didn't have a paid ministry. And so there was nothing for me to aspire to.
Right. Okay.
In that sense.
Got it.
I wanted to be a history teacher, secularly speaking.
Oh, really?
But yes.
At what level?
I had some.
What level did you?
I wanted to teach on a collegiate level. I wanted to teach on a collegiate level, and I knew I would probably have to get my doctorate to do that.
Well, what did you? What background? If you don't mind me asking, what were your majors in?
I majored in history in school.
Yeah.
But I never worked in that. I see. The last secular job I had or career I had, I was an analyst for Farmers Insurance.
Oh, so
but
different.
I went through. there were two things I wanted to do. I either wanted to be a history teacher or I wanted to do voiceovers in the entertainment business.
Yeah.
And
I hear you.
I did do some of that a little bit. I didn't excel at it. But I had some struggles in my youth from all that pressure I felt from trying to be like Dr. Harris and live up to that standard and be what I thought the Creator was, what Elijah thought that he was requiring.
Right. Now, wait, we're down to the doubt. Okay. So you're young. And so when you're young, we're so influenced. Okay. We've got the parents, we've got the leaders, we've got the mentors, we've got the teachers, all of this stuff. Now, at one point you think, because I was like that too, I always wanted a mentor. I always wanted someone older than me. And I, to tell you the truth, I never found it. And then all of a sudden I found myself in a position. I'm the one who's supposed to mentor, all of a sudden, So what I'm thinking about is, there's an element of doubt there. At a certain point, it came up.
Sure.
And what was that? What did that grow from?
For one thing, I don't know. Well, I can't say it was the sexuality thing because I didn't come to terms with that until after I had even left the congregation.
Right.
But I began to become dependent on prescription painkillers because I was dealing with some physical issues, and so that was a struggle. And so it was like I was one, some people might call it your dark night of the soul. Or
shadow.
I don't know.
You're going into the shadow. Yeah.
So I wandered around in that psychological wilderness for quite some time, Claudia.
Yeah.
Never thinking that at some point I would start a podcast or even preach metaphysics to the world.
When did you start that?
That really just began about a year ago.
Good for you.
With me wanting to share metaphysics with others. I didn't think I would have that opportunity. I mean, when I was younger, we didn't even have podcasts when I was in my mid-20s. That I knew of. It wasn't something that me and you were doing.
You didn't know that you could speak. Just get up there and speak.
And I knew I didn't want to start a congregation anywhere. Oh gosh, goodness gracious! Be leader of some group of people.
Right. So let's say, all right, you start this podcast, right? From the get-go, did you know how you wanted to set it up? What the topics would be, how it would be divided, season, series, or, did you have a pretty clear idea at the beginning, or did that, come in time?
Sure, that's a great question. I knew I wanted to share metaphysics with everyone, and I knew I wanted to share what Dr. Kinley and what Dr. Harris had shared with me, with everybody, because it had brought me to such a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And you know how it is when as human beings, being universal beings or energetic beings, we naturally love and we want to share with people. When we love something and when we have benefited from something, we're like that physically. Oh, hey, I got a great deal on a sale over here at this place. We're just like that. And so when something has benefited you and it has helped you become it says in the Bible, we behold and do it through a glass darkly. But when that darkness becomes more and more clear to you, you want to share that with others. Though sometimes I can be very, as a matter of fact, as some people might call me. But that's just the way I was taught. Don't let that offend you. But I also recognize that not every spiritual teacher is for every person.
Right.
Some people, might be a little offended by my brashness or my directness, and might need somebody that's a little bit more Joel Osteen. The Lord really loves you, and you're here to do great things, and I just know God's going to bless you, and you just keep on praying.
You're pretty good. You got a future.
right.
Okay, now wait. Now wait. All right, now, let's say that. Now that I know you have this podcast, I'm going to go listen, and then I'm going to tell my friends. And I say, hey, there's this guy. Go listen to his podcast. Really interesting, really interesting. One of them, let's call her Mary. She comes to you. She gets in touch with you because she, in some way, I guess maybe I could just be generic here and say she feels lost. Okay. She feels lost.
Sure.
Now, where would you start with her?
Okay. You are a sharpshooter.
I like to do this work.
No, I love the
I mean, we're
questions you
talking,
ask.
right?
Yeah. And I must say, I'm pleasantly surprised.
Thank
I mean,
God.
you're my second interview, and the last one went great. What was a very great interview, but I love the questions that you asked.
Yeah,
I
well,
must say.
the thing is, when you're doing podcasts, there on this side, you're a podcaster as well, and just
Sure,
this is
sure.
just
Not an interviewer, but
but
yeah,
yeah,
I am a
but a
podcaster.
podcaster. That's how I started. You know what I did? I used to because the book is called "The Magic of Power Seek." I mean, the power of I can't even remember the
Okay.
name of the book.
Okay.
the magic of pleasure seeking. So, the
Right.
person who was helping me and giving me an idea of what the market was like, she said to me, Claudia, because I'm a professor, a university professor, so most of my about 80% of my writing is academic, and academic writing
Okay.
is so tight. You have to put the comma, period. You open the parentheses, you cite the whole thing. And she would say to me, I see you in YouTube. I see you can talk. Just read it out loud. And so I said, okay. I wanted to start a podcast. I would wake up, turn on my phone, and start the episode. That was how I started.
Wow.
And I'd
Wow.
go. So, and then, I thought, I'm tired of that. My book is finished. Let me go on and meet. But now
Go for it.
But
Just go for it.
what I find is that people, they're on a mission. They have something to tell, and they need to tell you. And they have a book to sell. I don't know. They have a product they want to sell. They're selling themselves, or
Sure.
But when I have an interview, I'm not reading a piece of paper, right? I mean, I have the piece of paper. I've got the ideas, but it's so much nicer to talk about a person, how they felt in certain things in certain times, So,
Sure.
and so let's get back to Mary. So my friend
Sure.
Mary comes to you.
So let's talk to Mary.
Yeah.
So Mary comes to me and she says that she's lost spiritually, emotionally, psychologically speaking. I would start off by telling her that recognizing that she's lost is half the battle.
Good for you. One to 0.
Yeah. Because as Dr. Harris used to tell me, when you go to the mall, if this is a new mall, I don't know what part of the world you even live in, Claudia. What part of the world
that's cute. I'm in Rome, in Italy, so
Rome.
I'm
Okay,
9
great.
hours ahead of you. So here it's 9:30 p.m.
It's evening.
I grew up in New Jersey in the greater New York area. So
right.
I was born
I
in
watched
Rome,
you, so I heard you say
and then
that.
go.
You came back,
right? And I came back. Right?
But I say that to say I don't know if you guys have large shopping centers out there.
Oh
but
yeah.
I know you. You can do some great shopping in Rome.
Not as large as the United States.
Well, we do everything big out here, whether you're in Texas or not. Everything has got to be big.
You got that.
But the point that I'm trying to make is that when you go into the mall and you see that kiosk, it tells you are right here.
Here. Exactly.
And so by recognizing that you don't know, as my teacher used to say, that you don't know, that you don't know, that you just don't know, and that you're as one civil rights activist said, you're just sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of us wake up feeling that way. That a lot of people that go through depression, one of the hardest parts about it is when you don't even know what's wrong with you.
Oh, of course
when you don't even know.
Of course not. Depression, I remember as a girl, 13 and 17, it happened again. I couldn't see my image in the mirror. I just couldn't see it. And I couldn't, there was clouds all around me. People were talking. I didn't hear a thing. And that was the scariest thing in the world. I just couldn't touch myself. I didn't know where my skin ended. It's depression. You know, I got out of it, spinned right out of it with vitamins, actually.
Wow. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
But, you know,
Well,
that's
that helps
funny
you.
that you said you are here in the mall, because thinking of Mary, I work with language, and that expression, you are here, doesn't mean anything unless you're looking at a map, unless you're in a place, right? So Mary is with you, right?
Mm-hmm.
She's come to you and you said, well, that's half the battle, right? What would you
Mm-hmm.
suggest to her?
What I would say to her is, I would tell her that our Heavenly Father, whatever you call him, whether
Mm-hmm,
I grew up calling him Yahweh, you might have grown up, Claudia, calling him the Lord or
mm-hmm.
God. Someone else might have grown up calling him Allah or
Yeah.
what have you. But I would start off telling her that, C.S. Lewis put it like this. He said that if God is pleased with the thing, then the thing is typically pleased with itself. In one of my podcasts, and maybe several of them, I go into how that we being the effect of universal cause.
Oh,
We
say
do
that
error,
again. Say
Claudia.
that again. We?
The God or the Lord is universal cause, and we
Okay,
are
cause.
divine effect.
Okay, cause and
You
effect.
following what I'm
Got
saying?
that. Got that.
Cause and effect.
Uh-huh.
Because to every effect, there must be a cause to generate that effect,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So if he is universal cause and we are the effect of that cause, you see, or the manifestation of cause, you see, we do err greatly in trying to figure out the meaning of our lives without referring back to cause.
Okay.
Because see, it's going to be cause that tells you why you are here and where you are. You see, if you create something, Claudia, and that thing that you created is ignorant, and it's wandering around lost, and it doesn't know why it's here, what its purpose is, what it's supposed to do, what its ultimate destination is, you see, it must go to you, Claudia, the creator, to get those answers.
Yeah.
Because you know why you created that thing.
Yeah. Now.
You know what the rhyme and the reason for that thing. If you had a Pinocchio situation and you brought this doll to life, you understand?
Yeah.
And you and that doll said, Miss Claudia, I don't understand. What is it that I'm here for? You could say, I created you for the purpose of entertainment.
Yeah. Yeah.
And guess what? It is in entertainment that doll would find its life, because it is in the reason that were created for, that we will find our ultimate fulfillment. But because we come in generated on this lower level in a state of psychological darkness, which was illustrated in the Bible with the children of Israel being in Egypt, which symbolizes psychological darkness, you see, wanting to get to the land of Canaan, which is a physical symbol for a spiritual enlightenment, or truths. You see, that's where they wanted to go, you see, but they were in darknose. You see, they didn't start off that way. Now, it's important to mention, Claude,
now,
or Miss Claudia. I'm getting all familiar with you, Claude.
People call me a lot of things.
Hey, Claude, you want to go get drinks after we're done?
No, I wanted to stop you so many times because I work with metaphysics, and the number one question long time ago used to be, when is he going to call me? When can I, today it's, what is my soul's purpose? I swear to you, Elijah, 90% of the people want to know, what am I supposed to do? And this, as a question, is, my mouth drops and I think to myself, where do I begin? How could I tell you what your purpose is? If you don't know, I can't tell you. You have to get that information. And so I understand what you're saying, but it's not an easy task. And the question keeps coming up again and again, almost as if people are not listening, And I don't know what the issue is. I don't know why.
Sure. Let me help you with that. When we're talking about purpose, now the word purpose means intent, right?
Well, yes, there's
That's one of the
intention.
definitions.
Right.
There's many definitions for the word purpose, but one of the definitions is intent. What we do error in a lot of times, Claudia, is that we look at this physical world and we want to know, am I meant to be a singer?
Yeah.
Am I meant to be an actor? Am I meant to be
Right.
this? Am I meant to be that? Should I be a mother? Am I supposed to be a father? All that. You're starting from the bottom up when you should be starting from the top down.
Now, the thing is, I clarify often with these people and I say, well, you're a doctor. Well, that's what you should be doing. But there is a side that that's an offshoot of what you're doing as a doctor, but it's an extension. There's something, it's outward, right? And, that I like what you say, the top down instead of the bottom up. That's an excellent metaphor to explain.
Sure.
But
Sure.
many people do not understand how to communicate with the divine. They have no experience of that at all. And,
Sure.
It's like teaching people how to write or, or how to read. And so it's basic metaphysics 101, I think. I'm not sure because
that's right.
I'm not sure.
Right. Well, let me interject this, and I'm going to explain some things, and feel free to stop me when what we're looking at is understanding. See, if you understand who the inner man is, Claudia.
Yeah.
Then it will give answers to that outer man. And I just did an episode I made the title a little provocative, What Does God Think About Suicide? But I really wasn't trying to tell you, and it was not about condemning suicide. I didn't condemn suicide in any way, because what I pointed out, if people listen to the episode, is if it says over in the book of Job that there is a spirit in man. Yeah. You see, and we talked about earlier, Claudia, that you take the natural to understand the invisible, or the
visible, invisible,
the physical. Exactly. So that's Romans 1:19 and 20 for those that are interested. That's in the Bible, in the book of Romans, first chapter, the 18th through the 19th verses. If that's the case, one of the things that Dr. Harris, being a licensed medical doctor, graduated from Harry Medical in Nashville, Tennessee, but also being called to do metaphysics.
Right.
He said, I have the advantage to tell you that in medical school, when I was at Harry, I didn't see anything visible, you see, that gave life to the man when I operated when I opened the body in medical school.
Wait, give me that again. Give me that again slow.
He said that when he was in medical school, he didn't see anything physical that truly gave life to the man.
Yes.
You see, yes, there was a heart there.
Yes.
There's lungs there. But we have something, Claudia, that we know called stillbirth, right?
Yeah.
A child can be perfectly developed, and it's a tragedy for the parents.
Right.
Something awful when a woman and her spouse experience that.
Yeah.
You see, but that's a fully developed child being brought into the world, heart, lungs, all the major organs in place. But yet it's still a phenomena to this day, Doctor, to Claudia's.
Yeah.
I mean, two doctors today, Claudia.
Yeah.
That how is this child, this perfectly formed child here, yet there's no life in it?
Yeah.
And Dr. Harris said that he had the advantage of seeing that there truly is a spirit in man.
Yeah.
You see, and that it's not the heart that gives life. It's not the lungs that give life. It's not the liver or the kidneys. That there is a soul that gives life to the man. You see, and that is the inner man. And just like I referenced that episode I just did on suicide, and I told this story about a friend of mine that I had named Odie, who was a Syrian refugee. And I was 25 at the time, and he was 24. And I'll just kind of chop the story up. He worked in this dollar store that was up the street from where I lived when I was staying with my uncle. And I would go in there and buy things and get my stuff. And he would tell me, Elijah, I got to get a different job.
Yeah.
So I told him, I'll help you. My place the place where I work is hiring. So one day I brought the resume over to him because he didn't really know how to do a resume. So I did it for him. And he was outside smoking. And he got to talking. He looked at the resume. He said, thank you. It looks great. I can really use this. He said, I can use this anywhere. I said, yeah, you can take it anywhere. It doesn't have to be for where I'm working. And he just started rambling a little bit, Claudia.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden he said, and he told me what the conversation came from is he told me everything that he had gone through as a Syrian refugee over in Syria.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so he said, sometimes I think I should just kill myself. And he just kind of blurted that out.
Yeah.
And I said, are you serious, Odie? You really want to kill yourself? He said, yeah, sometimes I think I'd just be better because his family, although they were out of Syria, they were still having a hard time here in the United States.
Of course.
Exactly. So I said to him, and the Creator didn't give me any scripture or anything like that to tell him, but he told me to tell him this simply. Mm-hmm. He said, Odie, just like you got an outer man, you got an inner man, you see. And although it may seem like the trouble that you're having is from that outer man, it's not. It's from that inner man. And then I said this to him, Claudia. I said, you can take pills and you can take a gun and you can put a rope around that outer man's neck and it will have no effect on that inner man because he is impervious to whatever harm you bring upon that outer man.
Right.
That inner man is not affected by that.
Yeah.
So you can kill the outer man, you can destroy the body, but you cannot destroy the soul. And that's what's bothering you. The outer man is not what's bothering you. We have this thing of seeing is believing. No, when you believe, you'll see.
Yeah, exactly.
There's an old aphorism. There's an old aphorism, Claudia. So within, so without.
Yeah.
You see? Yeah. Whatever is going on in you, that's going to manifest in your outward world.
I'm having trouble with your inner man, outer man. I mean, we like to hear women. We like that.
Oh, no. Well, I'm you. Mankind is what I'm talking about.
Of course.
And angelic beings. And I'm glad you mentioned that.
Well, it's limited. Our language is limited. That's all.
Right. But what we're talking about is beings. Angelic beings are not divided beings. So there is no male angels or female angels. We have masculine energy and feminine energy.
Sure.
But angelic beings are not divided. We on this lower level are divided beings. Yeah. So we have males over here and females over here. But inwardly.
What about Otis now? How did he react? Odie.
His reaction when I said that you cannot take pills and harm that inner being or that inner man or inner woman.
Yeah.
You cannot take you cannot put a gun to the head and hurt that inner man or inner woman. He looked at me, Claudia, and he said, and he was almost a little shocked. And he said, I never thought about it like that.
Right.
He said, I never considered that because we just assume that the pain, the melancholy, the despondency is coming from that outward person.
Right.
And it's not. It's coming from the inner being. And so going back to our doll or Pinocchio situation.
Yeah.
You see, we know we have physical parents, you see, whether we know who they are or not. But if we want to know who, and we look to them to tell us who we are sometimes outwardly.
Right.
But if I want to know who I am inwardly or that inward being, I must look to my if the inner man is spirit, and his spiritual and his ancestry must come from spirit, because you can only reproduce whatever you are, because you get 23 chromosomes from the mother, 23 chromosomes from the father, and that makes you. So all you are, Claudia, is your mom. I'm just looking at Mr. and Mrs. Claudia.
Yeah.
Just like you're looking at Mr. and Mrs. Elijah. Right. So the question then becomes, who am I inwardly?
Yeah.
And when you begin to go on that journey, and it's an eternal, glorious journey, you see, when you begin, because that's all we're going to do in this life is begin to answer the question, who am I?
Yeah.
Then that will give reason and meaning to who you are outwardly, who that outward man is. It'll make being the doctor so much more pleasurable.
Right.
It'll make being the podcaster, just like you touched on. You touched on that, Claudia.
Yeah.
You said it will give meaning to that, right? That's what you told that young man who asked you that question. It's connected, you said.
Right.
You said it's not just that you're a doctor over here,
right?
But it's that there's something motivating that, you see, and that's going to give pleasure and meaning to that.
Yeah.
It'll make being the teacher so much more pleasurable because you will recognize who I am inwardly. I am an eternal spirit being that knows no beginning of days. And although they shall put my physical body in the ground, I will not go in the ground.
Right.
I will continue on living.
Right.
And exploring more and more things of my true spiritual ancestry. You see? So this is not that little dash that we see on the headstone.
Yeah.
We ought not let that worry us.
Yes.
You see, that was the message that Dr. Kinley and Dr. Harris was bringing to us. Don't let that, you're not the dash.
Yeah.
Don't define yourself by the dash. Because there was something before the dash, and there will be something after the dash. See, this little time frame, yesterday I was 16. And today I'm 37. It goes by so fast. You see?
So fast. Wait,
and I was sharing this in one of my...
Do you sing?
Sure.
Do you sing?
No, I can't.
You should try. Not even in the shower?
So? No. I hum. I got a mean shower voice, I can out-sing Whitney and Celine. Oh man, they don't stand a chance against me when I'm in the shower. Those divas better step to the side when I'm in the shower. Celine, stand back. They are too. Whitney was, but Celine is still one of my favorites.
Really,
when Whitney in her prime was one of my. I felt so sad when she transitioned out of the flesh. You see, but sometimes we have to leave this world to overcome certain things.
Yeah,
you see, that's what my teacher said. Sometimes you can't overcome here, so you got to leave to overcome.
Yeah, of course.
You see, we're not all going to overcome our infirmities here. You see, some of us are going to overcome.
To when you're in the thick of it. I don't know if you've ever had the experience of having a doctor telling you that you had 6 months to live, or saying, look, I see a lump here, you have to look at that, and then all of a sudden it's you, it hit me, it didn't hit her or him or them, and when you're in that position, you modify, you change so quickly. Everything stops, and I think that's an experience that everyone needs to have in order.
It can be a blessing sometimes.
Yes,
because we just had the anniversary of 9/11, and I was telling my mom when even I was in the 12th grade when it happened.
Oh, wow!
And one of the most vivid pictures, and I'm sure for many people,
you remember,
was seeing those people jump.
Oh, God.
From that building.
Oh, God.
And I don't like heights as is.
Jesus.
I'm a little nervous about them. I try not to be. Dr. Harris used to say, "Don't be so earthbound," But I'm a little. I don't play with heights, But I do love taking off in the airplane.
Yeah.
But I was telling my mom that, one of the hardest things about dealing with death is when someone's sick, at least you get time to say goodbye.
Right.
And in some ways, it's a blessing, although you don't want to see them suffer, and you hate to see them in pain if there is a lot of pain. But at least you get a chance to say, "I love you."
Right.
And you'll always be in my heart. And you get to tell them, if you're the one that's transitioning, you see, don't worry. I'm going to be okay. This is not the end of it.
This is because I do a lot of coaching, and the only answer that I have, and I always have, is we're not. These are mysteries. They're mysticism, that word mysticism comes from mystery. Sure. And, there are things that we are not meant to know. We're meant to trust or have faith in. And that is always going to be true in my mind. We don't have a why. We don't have the answer to why this little child has died when, and so that's the, comes with the package of life. Now let's go back to because there was sort of salad of topics that we could talk about.
Yeah, we did. We had a smorgasbord there.
Yeah.
Didn't we?
We did talk very scratching the surface about metaphysics, right? Definition, the whole thing. But you also mentioned spiritual truth. And I'm thinking, if I had a beard, I would start pulling it. And I'm thinking, what's the difference?
Okay.
And
I'll
what
do it for
is
you.
it true? Is it true? Is there a true? How true is true?
Sure.
And truth is it, because in science we say not even mathematics is true. There's all a matter of perspective almost always. I'm being the
Sure.
devil's advocate here.
That's okay. I'm glad that you are. I'm glad that you are, because I want to touch on some people who may be listening, who may say, you may get some people, Claudia, that stumble across your podcast,
Right.
Multiple Voices, that says, I don't even know if there be such a God. I've never seen one.
Right.
And Dr. Kennedy used to say, and it's so apropos that he would say this, he said, you've never seen the mind of a man either.
Right.
But you know that he has one, and you especially know when he's lost it.
Yeah.
Or what we perceive as losing their mind.
Yeah.
You see.
Yeah.
But this creator that we have, who is spirit, and none of our five finite senses can detect spirit. You see. But he said that he be not far from any of us. You see what I'm saying? But when we're talking about
truth,
metaphysics, and I'm sorry, your question. What was your
spiritual
question again?
truth. We talked about metaphysics, right?
Truth.
But another topic that you had, suggested was spiritual truth, and in my mind,
right,
I'm thinking, well, what is the truth in
truth.
the sense? Because even the phrase that you said, well, the Bible sells so much. Well, what about this Bible? And by the way, just a brief.
Okay. I'm going to reach right here real quick, Claudia.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Just get my drink. I apologize.
Yeah, just a brief comment here. The Bible is such a huge thing to jump into and read. The only way I can get around it is through a podcast. I have 365 days, a Bible in a year.
Do you open it and fall straight to sleep?
No. Well, I've got it. I've got a couple of
okay.
But I've got
But you just listen to it as you're going on because you're too busy
every
to
day.
sit
No.
Yeah.
I like to hear the podcast one a day because the comment of the reading, I mean, it's so gory, bloody, really, and even the podcast says this is not meant for young, underage people, right? Now, when we talk about spiritual truth, and then we have these scriptures, the Bible for one religion, another book for another religion, I question what that means. Truth. Is there
That's a wonderful question.
Truth.
Religious people, we think that there's Christians in heaven because we think that there's black people in heaven and white people in heaven and Middle Eastern people, and there's Italians and all that. Because we don't recognize, of course, Claudia, we can't leave the Italian. You guys are only a boat ride away from us, so we can't leave you out.
Right, thanks.
You're our European cousins,
Yeah,
just a
we
boat
were on
ride
Noah's
away.
Ark. Come on.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Come on,
Amen.
folks. Can't leave our Italian cousins. But when we're talking about truth, the Messiah said, "I am the truth." And when you're saying "I am," this, Claudia.
I
what
am.
we talk about when we say
Yeah.
we're saying the create. I am. And that I am that's true of me is also true of you.
Yeah.
Whether you call your I am the Lord or Yahweh, or I say Allah or Jehovah or what have you. And this is why we can't get along on this level. Because I don't see that the same I am that's true of Claudia is true of me. Because there's not a whole bunch of I ams. There's only one universal I am. And until mankind is elevated consciously and psychologically and universally and spiritually to the point where he can see that although that I am that Claudia is wearing a feminine body with white skin, and although the I am in me is wearing a black body you see, with male genitalia, that it's the same I am. And when something is true, Claudia, it's always true.
Okay.
It must always be true.
Okay, I get it.
So
now.
that is true to me. That whether it's in a 5-year-old Syrian child, or in a 50-year-old white man, or in a 60-year-old black woman, the same I am that gives light and consciousness that lets them know that they are is in all three of those people. And unless I recognize that my I am is their I am, then I see them as something different, and therefore, how can I be one with them when my eyes behold diversity?
Okay, now we have found the link. We found the link between the truth and the purpose. I think we've come full circle here, but I'm not exactly sure. But I don't want to say that we did it. But we have to come to an end sooner or later. But with this, I want to pick it up, in the future sometime, if you're willing to come back, Elijah. Because
of course. I've had a great time.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely.
because we just started, talking about it. And,
that's right.
This idea of spiritual truth and the metaphysical and what is my purpose, we'll have lots to talk about next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If causation is eternal, then effect must also be eternal.
Oh, wait. You can't start this now.
I'm not going to say anything else. I'm going to leave it alone. I'm not going to start any mess. I'm just saying that I am is eternal.
Yeah.
And we will always be growing in the understanding of I am. You see? And when I look at what went on with George Floyd, when I look at the social unrest, when I look at the Me Too movement, when I look at all that, it all comes from the ignorance of I am.
Look, why don't we call the next episode I Am? We'll start with that, okay? So we have a topic last time, all right?
Well, absolutely.
And
absolutely.
we'll keep in touch to know when, maybe around December. November, and thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you. This is my favorite thing to talk about. I enjoy it. I'm always down. Anytime somebody says, hey, you want to talk about metaphysics and spiritual truth? Listen, drop everything. Was I supposed to have this surgery today? I can't have this surgery today. No, you're going to have to cancel this surgery today. I'm talking metaphysics with my friend Claude over here.
All right, you're on. All right, we will do this again. Bye-bye, Elijah.
Thank you, Claudia. Goodbye. Have a nice night.
You say you wanna come over tonight. Yeah, you wanna make up and make it right. When everybody's looking for something else they can do, we try to make it work this time. We have let go of our doubts. Let's make it matter, 'cause we will never ever come down. It looks like we made it. If your heart should break on the map of my mistakes, I'm here if you need me. Just keep on believing. If the sky should fall, I'll give you shelter through it all. You better believe it. I'm here if you need me, 'cause it's waiting there for you. We have to be bolder tonight. Yeah, we have to turn darkness into light. When everything we have done comes around, comes undone, we try to make it right this time. We just gotta make up our minds. Let's make it matter, 'cause we will never ever slow down.